We solve engineering problems for the refining and petrochemical industry.
There's never 2 days that are alike. We get a lot of diversity with the projects.
You learn through the work, you learn through formal training classes, and you just learn through osmosis working with the people.
We're really a bunch of nerds here in the best way that you can be a nerd. That we solve a lot of hard problems.
And looking for an opportunity to really use those skill sets to see the interface between mathematics and the real world on a daily basis. And I found it. I found it.
The way to think about equity engineering is that we are healthcare for the refining industry. We look at old equipment, we nurse it back to health. We tell you how to inspect it, we tell you how to treat it and bring it back to its full capability and make it available for operations.
We evaluate equipment that's been damaged in some way and try to determine whether or not the client can continue to operate it safely.
The type of problems that I solve are mostly open-ended type problems that we don't really know of a method that can be used to solve the problem. So we develop the method and execute a procedure and see what the results look like.
Specifically in my area, the problems we solve are generally to do with helping our clients with aging infrastructure. And what is aging infrastructure? It's old pipes and old pressure vessels, old heat exchangers that have been in service for a long time, and it's worth something to our clients in order to keep running that equipment. So we help them basically spend a lot of time evaluating damage that it may have taken on in its life, whether it's just corroded and gotten thin, or it's started cracking due to some very specialized environment that it operates in. So we can help our clients through that by helping them really assess what's going on with their equipment first, and then posing whether or not they need to do anything else other than maybe some minor monitoring in order to continue running, or maybe they do have to fix it.
Whenever you do go to a site, a client site, you could see that because they know you're from equity, that actually means something to them. So it's nice to have that. Your reputation the company's reputation precedes you.
When competitors are doing work, they're typically using documents and codes and standards that were written equity engineering. So we essentially wrote the book.
One of the things that is really impressive to me, being sort of new in the field, is working with these that have sort of written the codes that all these different companies and all these different manufacturers use in the industry. But the good thing about it is you wouldn't get that intimidation factor. They're just as much interested in finding the answers and researching some of the new developments in the field as you would be. So it's a really good feeling to know how they approach problems, but they're still hungry to learn more, and they develop that in us as new engineers.
The people here are actively involved in developing a cutting-edge methods for oil and gas industries. They're heavily involved in the code committees and especially bringing up new ideas to the board to actually better solve an engineering problem. So working at equity, I'm exposed to those kind of new ideas much before they're in the code books.
Some of the people that we get to work with here at the company are world experts in the field. They've developed and written the codes that are used to design and assess pressure vessels and fixed equipment, and it's exciting to get their direct insight on a particular problem that you happen to be working on.
As women in engineering, you're used to being around a bunch of guys, so it's not much of a change really to come here and be male-dominated industry. You're kind of used to it because that's what you've done it through college. It's no different here. You're respected. You work with everyone just like you'd work in any career. Well, I would say learning is one of the main reasons you'd want to work here. I think the potential to learn is extremely great here. There's lots of people who are extremely smart and very helpful. And when you come here, you might think you know what you're talking about, and you learn quickly. There's more to learn than you could ever get from your time being here. So your learning ability here is a really wonderful thing. And if there is something that you want to go investigate, you usually have the freedom to go and further investigate those problems. People that are well known in industry or famous or whatever the word is you don't even know that they're as famous as they are, as well known as they are, because they are accessible just like any other engineer here. Their doors are open.
I sort of had an unconventional way of coming on to equity engineering. As I mentioned, I have my degree, my Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering, and I did have some plant experience in industrial and electrical engineering work, but I came in through sort of an administrative role and made an impact on the practices and supporting the mechanical engineering business unit. So they realized that I was able to learn on the job, so they brought me into an engineering role.
The personalities that do well at this company, I think people that are very driven. We tend to have a lot of self-motivated individuals here, and it's good because we allow for that. We allow for people to actually have their own ideas and actually propagate them up through the company. It's not really too much of a top-down where someone's coming to you and saying, you know, this is what you're going to do. If you have an idea or you want to pursue an avenue, if you have a good reason for it and you discuss that with your superiors, there's probably a pretty good chance that you're going to be allowed to pursue it.
If you're the type of person that's a self-starter, that wants a challenge, this is about the best place you can find, because we will support that. We'll bring you in, you'll be assimilated to the industry, you'll be assimilated to the basics. Once you have knowledge where you want to increase knowledge in a field or work in a field, even if it's brand new, the company will support you in that, and we've done it quite a bit. That person most likely is a person that has a very high skill set that may not have been able to utilize it in their previous job, but again, we'll take our same philosophy that we use for young employees and apply it to mid-career type employees and let them develop their skill sets and further advance them, and many times that'll lead to new business lines for us. So again, we're a very adaptive company.
People around here especially, is owned by the employees. This is mine, so I'm gonna build this company. That's what I got from this company when I hear about it and when I see people working hard.
Ownership culture, I mean, certainly under the ESOP, the idea is to garner that additional motivation that people may need to say that I own a piece of this. I think here we found the most successful people in the company had a lot of that motivation to begin with.
Being an owner of a company it's an interesting experience. It wasn't one that, it wasn't one of the features of the company that had drawn me to it, but now that I'm here, I've grown to appreciate it quite a bit. I feel like it contributes to this sense that everyone is fully accessible because everyone is a co-owner, and there is no ceiling because I'm surrounded by co-owners.
I enjoy working on high-value, high-impact problems. I enjoy going out into the field and seeing the equipment in the field and seeing the impact that what we do in the office has.
On a day-to-day basis, the people I work with, or all of them are rock stars in the industry.
Every single day, the things that mathematicians talk about, I do. When they say we can optimize, we can find the greatest, we can find the smallest, I find the greatest, I find the smallest. And every day I'm using the techniques that make mathematics real to solve problems that have real consequences.